Things continue to heat up in the Virginia gerrymandering effort as Democrats try to take 10 congressional seats, leaving just one for a Republican, taking away the 6 Democrat, 5 Republican balance Virginia has had since 2021, long considered some of the most fair maps anywhere in the U.S. So Governor Spanberger today declined a debate from a former Virginia senator on this issue, this gerrymandering issue. We're going to get into that. Governor Youngkin getting involved in this in ways I have not seen a former sitting governor come back out of retirement, as it were, and get involved to stay involved in Virginia politics. And the poly market, the bettors on this, as you can imagine, they are putting their 2 cents into this, and it is not looking good. I'll have the odds, which are increasingly looking like they're in Democrats' favor on this, but I'm going to tell you what conservatives are doing to help turn that around, including a major donation for more advertising to help get out the no vote on this gerrymander. Hello, everyone. I'm Uriah Kaiser. This is Virginia Insider, where we are giving you the news and information you need to take back your Commonwealth and your community. Please like this video, hit that bell and subscribe button, and you'll know when we post new content about Virginia. All right, let's get into this here. The Virginian Pilot now reporting Spanberger declines ex-Governor George Allen's request for a redistricting debate. Spanberger declined the invitation from Allen to debate him on the upcoming referendum on congressional redistricting. Allen, a Republican who served as Virginia governor in the mid-90s and as a U.S. Senator from 2001 to 2007, said Virginians deserve to hear both sides. Spanberger, a Democrat who took office this year, has urged Virginians to vote yes on the April 21st election. Allen saying, "I think you owe it to the people to be transparent and honest and forth." Allen said, I think Spanberger owes it to the people to be transparent and honest and forthright with them. And when there's something as significant as millions of people losing And when there's something as significant as millions of people losing representative democracy and their voice, people want to know what's at stake. He called it absurd, abnormal, and calling this gerrymandering vote on April 21st something that's been rammed through and a rushed vote. The referendum, of course, is asking Virginians, should you restore fairness in the elections? That's a very nefarious way of saying this, and essentially what they're trying to do. The political power would be held in Fairfax County. It would be, if these maps do pass, the only Republican that would represent Virginia in Congress their district would be in the southwest portion of the state. And it does not reflect the voters of this state. At least 45% to 50% of this state votes conservative, but they would get essentially very little voice at all, if at all, in Congress should this gerrymander pass. Now, the Pilot reports that Spanberger's spokeswoman said that Spanberger is focused on the work of governing and taking action on more than 1,100 bills that were passed, but she is not speaking on this. Spanberger does not speak directly to reporters. We saw that earlier this past week when Nick Minock approached her in Culpeper asking her for a statement about the death of Stephanie Minter, the 41-year-old mother who was stabbed and killed by an illegal alien in Fairfax County. She just got into her car and left, did not give him a statement of any substance, of blaming ICE for that, blaming ICE and essentially getting in her car and leaving. Now, we mentioned that Fairfax County would be the center of power for the state if these maps are approved. All the congressional lines are drawn out of Fairfax County, and so Fairfax County now becoming the butt, a very bad joke in the state. This is Cardinal News. Virginia's largest county becomes a verb as "Don't Fairfax Me" signs pop up in rural areas. You see it right there. They've got it on the side of a barn there in Harrisonburg, just on I-81 south of Harrisonburg. So when early voting was proposed on the redistricting amendment began, the General Assembly was still in session. So no one pretty So one pretty March day, Delegate Joe McNamara walked outside the state capitol and recorded a short video to post on social media in which he urged a no vote. McNamara, this amendment will not only take power away from local people, the Roanoke County Republican said, it will consolidate power in Northern Virginia. Delegate McNamara was being mild when then Delegate Ren Williams, a fellow Republican from Patrick County, posted a social media message about what he called Fairfax phobia, which he described as distrust or fear that political power concentrated in Fairfax County is dominating the decisions for the entire Commonwealth and imposing policies on communities that they cannot afford. So don't Fairfax me becoming a thing across the state, especially in rural areas. And if you've seen our reporting on what is happening in Fairfax County, just today we put out a video about the latest criminal illegal alien now charged with a crime, this being the death of a 3-month-old baby girl that police say this criminal illegal alien beat her to death. It comes as another criminal illegal alien is charged with using a machete to kill a man in the Bailey's Crossroads area in Fairfax County. And of course, Abdul Jallo, the man from Sierra Leone who has been in this country since 2012, now accused in the death of stabbing and killing that mother, Stephanie Mentor, at that Fairfax County bus stop. All of these criminal illegal aliens are known to police. However, because Fairfax County is a sanctuary jurisdiction, they are honoring Governor Abigail Spanberger's sanctuary policies and will not work with ICE despite multiple attempts from the federal agency to get these bad guys arrested, have them transferred from Fairfax County custody into federal custody. Stacey Kincaid, the sheriff in Fairfax County, not honoring these ICE detainers. The Fairfax officials not commenting on these deaths. They are simply not working with federal officials. So you can see why these areas across Virginia are saying, do not Fairfax me. Here's a look at the early voting. Early voting in the gerrymander redistricting referendum is now underway up until April 18th. Conservative districts are still seeing more turnout than liberal districts. We're going to go here. JRL Josh reporting here, Virginia redistricting referendum and early vote update. Rob Whitman in Congressional District 1 continues to lead the way with a huge 82,000 votes cast so far. All 5 Republican districts continue to lead turnout, but let's get those numbers up in CD9. That's Congressional District 9 out here in the southwestern portion of the state here. This is very unusual to see early voting in these districts because these, as I said, these districts are heavily conservative. Conservatives tend to wait until Election Day to come out to vote. So this is a very interesting thing to see. We've been seeing this since the onset of early voting back in early March. I believe early voting began on this March 6th and it ends April 18th. But everything is it could change and very quickly as Northern Virginia plans to open up more voting centers in the coming days, more early voting centers where people can go and vote early. And of course, Polymarket getting into all of this. They are putting their odds behind Democrats winning this gerrymandering effort. A 91% chance here, but they're saying that Democrats will likely get their 10-1 map here. So the odds here, and they're betting up, looks like, I'm not a big Polymarket guy. I don't really gamble, but it is interesting to see how this is coming out here. Very high chance to pass. But there is some good news for conservatives. There is more money coming in for the cause, a $5 million donation for the GOP's anti-redistricting campaign. Allie Mutnick from Punchbowl News reporting here, $5 million transfer from its Allied Dark Money Group. Ours are getting a serious cash infusion ahead of the April 21st referendum. But however, they are still massively outspent. Democrats have raised more than $40 million on this. A lot of it coming from outside of Virginia, including the George Soros Foundation, is pouring money into this. We've seen House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries dump $20 million of his own money into this fight here in Virginia. So Democrats continue to raise money like nobody's business, continually outspending conservatives on this effort to redraw the maps and gerrymander the state to put the state under what they call temporary control. To me, temporary seems like maybe next month, maybe by the fall, maybe the next election. But this temporary measure, as they're calling it, would be in place until at least 2030. And we can take a look at the situation in the Northeast that do have conservative Republican voters, but none of those states have any Republican Congress people representing them whatsoever. Right now, Virginia is very well balanced, 6 Democrats to 5 Republicans. Those maps drawn back in 2021, largely considered to be some of the fairest, but I guess Democrats want total control. They are pushing to get more congressional seats in the November midterms to counter Donald Trump. Now, conservatives aren't taking all this lying down. They are holding rallies across the state. A big profile, high-profile rally coming up on April 11th. Tyler Englander from WRIC-TV posting here, join Congressman John McGuire and special guest Governor Glenn Youngkin for a Vote No rally. This is going to be in Lynchburg, April 11th from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. They've also got Senator Mark Peake, Senator Luther Cyphers, and Delegate Wendell Walker all there to help get out the vote. We saw Scott Pressler come in to Virginia this past weekend, and he wrapped up a series of rallies in Virginia Beach last night. We are seeing former Attorney General Jason Miyares get out the rally, get out the word on this gerrymander referendum going on here. And not only are we seeing Governor Youngkin come back out of retirement, as it were, because Governor Youngkin was the previous governor, served 4 years. Virginia is the only state in the union that term limits its governor to 1 term, meaning that the sitting governor is never allowed to run for re-election. That's in the Virginia Constitution. But it is unusual to see a governor who just stepped down remain as active as we are seeing Governor Glenn Youngkin coming back in here. We are now seeing him take on Abigail Spanberger here in the press. This is 13 News Now in Hampton Roads. This is a lie, a blatant lie. Former Governor Youngkin attacks Spanberger over Virginia redistricting. Political clash escalating in Virginia as former Governor Glenn Youngkin publicly criticized the current Governor Abigail Spanberger over proposed redistricting referendum. Youngkin, a Republican, is urging voters to reject the measure ahead of the April 21st vote. Quote, "This is a lie, a blatant lie, not to mention a complete reversal of your campaign promises," Youngkin said in a post on X. "This unconstitutional power grab will permanently rig Virginia's congressional maps and disenfranchise millions of Virginians. Virginia, vote no." To Youngkin's point there, Spanberger, when asked on the campaign trail if she had any plans to redistrict Virginia, if she had any plans to do this, she said no. That was not in the cards. It was not something she was going to do. But yet, as soon as she got into power in January and was sworn in, she took $5 million from the state budget to hold this special election in April to gerrymander the state. As you well know, Virginia has an election every single year, so there's always an election happening in every November, but voting in April is unusual. But all of that has changed under Governor Spanberger, who is pushing to gerrymander Virginia and essentially remove the independent redistricting commission the state has now, which Democrats pushed for back in 2020. Voters went to the polls and decided, you know what, we do need to take redistricting power out of the hands of politicians in Virginia's General Assembly and give it to the people so they can draw the maps. Democrats pushed for this. Virginians overwhelmingly supported this with over 65% of the vote, and now Democrats are working to grab that power back from the people and give it to politicians in the General Assembly so they can gerrymander the maps and get more Democrats into the halls of power in Washington. What do you think about all this? Do you plan on going to any of these rallies? Have you voted early? Do you need to find your polling place? I'll put the link in the description where you can find your polling place. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments, and we will see you on the next one.